I'm disgusted. Everyone in the comments was telling me this was the darkest case of the year. I predict this will result in a life sentence without parole.
Accident. What they revealed ended with a 28-year prison sentence and a chain of decisions that come.
28-year prison sentence? Wow. You definitely have to script out something out that story, because your story is not adding up to what the detective or we trying to figure out.
Changed how people saw this case. Let's start with the tragic day.
I want to see the whole mess up day, the tragic day. Why it happened in Michigan.
I found her like this, just like that.
So police arrived at Chelsea Dupron's home in Wayne, Michigan after a 911 dispatcher sent them over for a medical emergency. Reportedly, an 8-year-old girl was unresponsive after suffering a fall in the basement. But unresponsive is a mild term here. Lila is lying in bed in diapers, completely unable to move. And what officers are seeing doesn't look like a simple fall. Reports describe several marks that shouldn't be there, and that pointed at something much more sinister.
There's obviously.
Hold on, I gotta say this. If your kid technically accidentally fall, right, then it will probably go through the head, they probably will bleed, cut open, right, and they'll probably still be alive, but it's still damaged. But you say marks, now that actually makes total sense to where it actually turned on to a mother fall.
Bruising and a whole bunch of stuff going on with her face.
Yeah.
And yet, Chelsea kept repeating the word fall over and over and over again while covering her face with her hands. She said that Lila fell down the basement stairs about 2 days
Oh, she's still
earlier.
going with this accident.
2 days. And she'd only phoned 911 that morning.
Look at her legs. She's been here for I don't even know how long.
An officer immediately started performing CPR. They could tell Lila was still breathing, but no progress was happening. So they asked for an ambulance to take Lila to the hospital ASAP. Sadly, she would be pronounced dead that afternoon. At this point, all detectives could do was stick around and grill Chelsea. The first question was, why was her daughter in diapers?
Because her back hurts.
Wait, whoa. Huh? Wait a minute. You say she been in diaper? Why is she even in a diaper? Wait, no. I thought I had it. I don't even have it at this point.
So for at least 48 hours, Lila was in that state. And her mom didn't even think it was necessary to call a doctor. She just thought of a solution to not get her bed dirty. And you can actually hear the officers' voices trying to make sense of all of this.
Was she able to move? Was she able to get up?
She did. She sat up once, but she wasn't able to get up and move around.
By now, they already knew that this went beyond the actual basement accident. They were looking at everything that happened after, the delay, and the awful decisions that made Chelsea look more and more guilty.
So she hasn't been able to get out of bed in 2 days? Since
she definitely made herself more guilty even if she didn't because
and while all of this was unfolding, Chelsea was calm and cooperative. But the words that were coming out of her mouth just were not making sense.
But it's I don't remember that.
Not making sense.
Then the officer looks down and notices Chelsea's hands.
Right to what she's trying to say.
Are your hands usually that swollen and on your arms as well? You got that hand is completely different size, your whole arm
Chelsea just said, I don't know, even as officers filmed her hands with a flash. That's when someone intervened. Someone that was sitting next to her on the couch all this time. You guys, Chelsea did not live alone. She lived with her boyfriend, Dana, not Lila's dad, but he'd been around for years. Throughout the interrogation, he was quiet, but watch his reaction when the cops talk about Chelsea's hands.
Your entire fist is swollen like you've been punching something. You have bruises all over your arms.
I gotta predict. She probably was punching her daughter for some reason. There's always a reason to what the mother or what the parent did to the kid that caused the kid to die. Huh.
Chelsea. Come talk to me outside, too.
Damn, even the boyfriend upset. And he's not even the real father.
You gotta talk.
He's upset.
Yep, he knew something he wasn't saying. And an officer picked up on that immediately, as he asked him to talk to him outside where Chelsea wouldn't hear. But the fact that he urged her to talk too before he stood up speaks volumes. Sadly, Chelsea's lies would only snowball once he was out of the room. And this is where we get to the first concerning bit.
Echo through the room.
When she said downstairs.
Unprompted, Chelsea said Lila claimed her mom was violent toward her, but Chelsea insisted that was just a kid's lie. Still, why would she bring that up if that hadn't happened?
Yeah.
Who told you that you
Why would your daughter
That's her, Lila?
you were violent too?
The officer had a logical next question. If you're not guilty and your boyfriend isn't either, then who could have possibly done it? That's when Chelsea began talking of evil spirits.
I honestly think this house
Oh my...
And no, she said she wasn't consuming any substances. She quit those long ago. Chelsea started talking about a woman's presence in the basement, something she was investigating when she discovered Lila after the fall.
I turned the corner and there was a lady there. And she was all like...
So you didn't discover it before the fall?
And then, yeah.
Imagine being an officer in that room. And it doesn't stop there either. Chelsea was just digging herself into lies at this point.
Damn.
Suddenly, she had an explanation
She's definitely digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper, where it's so deep that she can never be able to climb out, and she's stuck there forever and ever. And even if she did actually try to scrape through a pain, it would take probably thousand years to even figure out a way to get out.
Her swollen arms, too.
So once you saw this face in front of you, is that when you started just punching?
No, I just don't remember really.
And you just
blacked out. You probably saw that face, and then you started punching.
Maybe
that's
she
why you
punched
hand like
a ghost
that.
and got KO'd. And Chelsea added one last thing. Her working theory about Lila's fate.
What happened when you saw this lady?
Yeah, what happened?
She was saying that this is her house. She's lived down there. She's a witch.
Yeah.
And she was like, look what I can do. And it was like, all of a sudden,
All of a sudden what?
It just...
All of a sudden what?
Everything...
Let's get back to reality. It's March 16th. The hospital was already getting ready for an autopsy report, and the detectives were still at the Dupron home, investigating the following: a child with catastrophic injuries, a caregiver with visible signs of physical impact, and a story that kept changing every few minutes.
A story
you
that...
can already feel
every few minutes?
Realization. And that's when the medical findings come in. And you guys, this is where every bit of Chelsea's story falls apart.
Eyes and not make it seem like they did something, but not change it every few minutes.
Once the medical team and investigators put everything together, it was clear Chelsea was lying through her teeth. And not just about the witch, about everything. The injuries Lila had suffered were extensive and widespread. And according to what's presented in court later, they point to repeated force over time. Listen to the prosecutor's report.
There were well over 200 autopsy photos, and the people had narrowed them down to somewhere in the 60s, not being cumulative, because there was not one spot from head to toe that was not bruised or marked on Lila.
Clearly, that's not what stairs do, even after a serious tumble. The official cause listed by the coroner was blunt force trauma. And that was just the tip of the iceberg inside.
I want y'all to tell me what blunt force trauma, like, I want a doctor or something, like, is it something doing, like, the trauma to the head or the brain? Yeah, I have seen, like, brain damage, but I don't know, like, the blunt trauma, like, I know it gotta do something with the head, it have to.
Police report, because it was paired with everything else: the 2-day delay, the diapers, the paranormal explanations. The latter went from this lady is strange to proof of concealment. Chelsea was arrested and charged with the most serious charges available, including first-degree and CA. She was held without bond. Now, detectives just had to figure out what happened inside that house and how many times Lila could have been saved by the adults around her and Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I think the partner has something to answer to here as well, even though maybe not legally.
Up to this point, it is very easy to center everything on Chelsea. But Chelsea was not the only adult in that house in March of 2024. Dana, her boyfriend, was there, and judging by his reaction during the interrogation, he knew a lot.
And he knew that medical care. And the person
now
that called
actually making more sense.
So now there's another question to this case. How does another adult witness this for at least 48 hours and choose not to call 911?
Regardless of what transpired, it is clear he was in a position to act and
mess up.
You and my home.
During Chelsea's sentencing, we heard from several of her relatives, and the emotional weight deepened with every testimony. For starters, they were all aligned about one thing. Lila was failed time and time again by Chelsea and Dana. They had systemically cut off family members and anyone who probed or started asking too many questions. So instead of asking for their help, Chelsea ghosted them and isolated her daughter from potential saviors.
Why are you asking your daughter from in contact with your family? Or in contact with your ex-man family? So his family and your family couldn't, wow. It's kind of connecting or kind of weird out right now. Because you're putting yourself in a situation that you're not going to be able to figure out why you're in that situation.
Lila's paternal grandmother, Terry Castle, drove this point home.
She was beautiful and innocent and so sweet.
Is she trying to like not protect her, but trying to help her out in this case?
And then forever.
Only in hindsight did these relatives realize just how bad things were. Only in hindsight did they think, if we knew, if we'd have fought more to take Lila home.
I have heard so many people say that. If they knew, if they couldn't, they could save someone or somebody in the family would say that.
Notice two things in this video. One, Lily speaks of critical days. And two, Chelsea is crying. And that's the final heavy part. Chelsea did speak at her sentencing, and she said a lot. And what she said only makes the disconnect harder to process.
I'm not going to say nothing in this one. I want we all experience and hear what she said.
Chelsea chose to plead guilty to second degree with the maximum possible sentence of life in prison with parole. So there was no trial, only a long sentencing during which she cried from beginning to end. So the facts of this case were no longer in dispute at this point. The only thing that was left was how she explained herself. And when she finally addresses the judge, the tone is not necessarily what you guys would expect. Instead of walking the court through what happened or taking full accountability, she started lying about Lila as a baby.
On June 27, 2015, I was blessed with the most perfect baby who grew into the most caring, smart, funny, loving, sweet girl.
She spoke about getting filled with a love she did not even know possible. About moments in the kitchen where she made food with love, and Lila could taste it. She even went into detail about Lila's favorite hobbies and cartoon characters.
I loved watching Garfield and SpongeBob. She loved our Kit Kat and our dog Sheba.
And you can see other people in the background crying with her. Except this makes little sense. Too. And if we are to believe Chelsea, it makes little sense to her too. Even today. Here is the only thing she adds about the tragedy.
I will never understand why this tragedy has become our reality.
Did she just say she don't understand about this? Wow. I swear to God. Why in the world do you say you didn't understand of the tragedy? But you literally didn't. You had to do it. Your boyfriend saw the whole thing, and y'all, then you call like, there's so many things that are jumping at me, and it not adding up to what I just heard.
Such a devastating loss of the most beautiful life. Rest in peace, baby girl. Until we meet again, I love you always and forever.
So even at the sentencing, we got no clear breakdown of what happened inside that house.
Yeah, we really didn't.
But before we jump to conclusions about fake tears and lack of accountability, we need to talk about an important psychological layer here. There are documented situations where people commit acts during severe mental breaks, especially early, untreated episodes.
Is that even true?
One large review found that 38.5% of homicides occurred during the first episode of psychosis prior to initial treatment.
And
when that happens, the person doesn't always understand what they're doing in the moment or even remember it clearly afterward. So, Chelsea's witch talk.
So, normally, I would definitely tell y'all this is not a medical situation. This person did it. There are all reasons to it. But now, hearing her saying that she probably took some type of psychosis or something, and she forgot, like, what she did in that moment, in that act, made me really think this definitely had to be some medical issue.
Lily is grieving something a little more complicated here. A complete breakdown that no one stepped in to stop. That's why she references Dana again and again and again. He was the one person who may have been in a position to recognize that something was off and to do something about it.
Or he didn't know that something was going off, even if he didn't, but he didn't know, like, what was going on, and he didn't know. Then why was the cop not called? I'm gonna keep on saying it. They should have been called that cop in 48 hours. Because even if she was, like, really dead, she could, like, probably survive. And then whatever blood was dripping, they could have stitched it up in something, and she could have lived.
Report states Dupron's boyfriend, who was present during the events leading to Lila's death, was not charged. He acknowledged that he recognized the girl was in distress, but felt it was Dupron's responsibility to take action. That last part makes my blood boil. Now, while Chelsea spoke from a place of emotion, the judge and prosecutors were anchored in evidence, and they had to reach a conclusion.
Normally, it hurt the cops and the judge more in these type of cases because with the cops, they literally have to go to the scene of the accident. Then the judge have to literally read out and watch video of it to see where it goes. And it works. And the crazy thing about it, it works on the doctor and the nurses more than the cop and the judge. Because they got to be the one who got to save the person in these type of accident or crime or murder.
Injury, that was actually a charge added to Chelsea. The fact that so many family members suffered, the fact that she cut them off and prevented them from helping Lila, all of these were read out loud by the judge from letters received from almost a dozen of Lila's relatives.
A note in some of the letters that indicates that family members are having reoccurring nightmares.
And the judge also makes it clear that this is not a case that can be minimized or explained away, even with breakdowns.
She was brutally attacked by the individual that was supposed to love her, to nurture her,
nurse
care for
protect
her,
care for her until she turned 18.
This case comes down to trust. Perhaps the most punishable act is when the person responsible for your safety becomes the source of your harm.
Yeah, become the source of your
death. Dupron to 28 to 50 years in prison. It was one of the longest sentences she could have gotten. And this criminal attorney explains why the judge went for that.
I didn't see a whole lot of real accountability from the defendant, even in the statements. You know, maybe this is looking too far into it, but it was a lot of focus on her.
Lila is remembered as much more than those final photos. She should have had years ahead of her, and many more dreams to fulfill. Now her loved ones are left with a question that follows them in their nightmares.
Yo, if that video was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. I put my funniest reaction right here in this playlist, and YouTube thinks you will love this special video next. Click one of those, hit the sub button if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.